I've got an A harmonica, and we're talking about vibratos, warbles, dirty notes, and what am I forgetting? Warbles, vibratos, dirty notes, and a hand technique. And these four things, how can they give you more depth to your playing and give you a sound that's more like blues harmonica than not? So if you're stuck in the single note world and you're not getting that sound out of your harp that you want, these are a good chunk of the techniques you want to focus on. On Sunday, I'm doing an entire class dedicated to those four techniques: hand technique, vibrato, warbles, and dirty notes. Step one is figuring out what these things mean. What is the definition? What are the mechanics? How can I practice it? And finally, what we'll do is just a little bit of demonstration of how they fit into your playing. Higher level thinking beyond just putting that particular technique on one note and sustaining it. What else is there? So in that intro here that I just played, I demonstrated everything: dirty notes, warbles. I played some vibratos, and I used hand technique. And you can hear how much it opens up my sound. So that's what I want to talk about today. Let's jump right in and just have a little light discussion. If you love this topic, check the video description, though. The class is on sale for $15 and it's recorded, so it's worth catching it. All right. A harmonica. So step one is understanding that there are multiple ways to actually do, for example, a warble or a vibrato. There's various types of vibrato. Same with hand technique. And to a degree with dirty notes, which we could talk a little bit about. But this isn't a full-blown class today, so what I'll do is just give you a light discussion on these topics. For example, in the world of doing a head shake or warble, we could use our hands. So there's more than one way to get this technique. And you can hear how when I use my hand, which I'm not used to doing that, it gives it a very different sound. You can hear how you can get it to go to that sort of next level speed. So then again, once you've kind of got an idea of where you can play these, because you don't want to just stick to one area of the harmonica. For example, I was playing 3 and 4 draw together. You're going to explore all the various adjacent holes. Both draw and blow are valid for these warbles. And let's jump to vibrato for a minute. If you're thinking about vibrato, the most traditional sound is that throat vibrato, which I'll break down in class, but it sounds like this. It took me a long time to develop this sound, and I remember thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this to come out the way that I'm hearing it and the way I hear other people play it? And part of the answer was that it took a little just time in practicing and letting my technique develop. But there was some very specific things that occurred to me after I could do it that I think are helpful to those working on it. And some of that has to do with really relaxing and loosening up the upper throat area and understanding that traditional vibrato doesn't happen with a mechanical process. It happens by letting go, and there's sort of a involuntary response that happens in the epiglottis. So that's part of that. And there's other ones. Let me just let you hear. I started the clip, I think, with this sound. That's pretty spooky sounding, and that's what I call it, just a tongue vibrato. I'll talk more about what I'm doing to get that in class. And what else we got? We got hand technique. There's so many different types of hand technique. All I can say is watch a bunch of videos and watch how people are using their hands. In an acoustic setting, there's all these different positions that you can try. Hands on, hands coming off. And amplified, it's the same thing. There's all these different positions you can examine. So I'm going to share the most important ones with the class that I work on. And I spent a lot of time developing hand technique because I was really fond of that sound that Big Walter and Sonny Boy Williamson II were getting. So So there's all these different things you can experiment with. Some of it you can figure out, obviously, intuitively and just sit down, watch your favorite players, take a listen, and see what you can find. But I feel like there's some nuanced things happening, especially in the closed hand position that we can talk about that will take you to the next level. So dirty notes are the final one, and dirty notes are something that are essential to the blues harmonica sound. And they have to do with playing two notes at once. But the difference is that a lot of people are doing this unintentionally versus turning it on when you want it and turning it off and going into clean sounds surrounding these dirty notes, which really bring them to life. So finding ways to use them musically, we'll be talking about those dirty notes in class. So on that note, I hope to catch some of you on Sunday, June 12th at 11 a.m. Central. Check the video description. Make it a great day, and I'll see you soon.